Dre all day.
Dre Baldwin, balloverseas.com, the overseas basketball blueprint. I'm making this specifically for the people who are new in the professional basketball world. Maybe you're just looking for some general information. This is for the newbies. All right, this video is for people who are brand new, don't know anything. Maybe you're just exploring, you're just curious. You just want to know what this overseas basketball thing is about. Maybe you are a parent of a child. Your child wants to play basketball overseas and you're getting the information. Maybe you're a coach and you don't know anything and you want to help one of your players out. Maybe you're a boyfriend or girlfriend, husband or wife, and you want to help your significant other who wants to play overseas. They don't have the information. You're looking up the information to help them out. I commend you for that, for looking out for another person who hasn't looked out for themselves quite yet, or maybe they don't know where to look. Good thing is you found the right person at the right time, the right place, and I have the right information about overseas basketball. For everybody who's new to this, whether you're a player or getting information, there are 3 specific things I'm going to tell you about overseas basketball that I want you to understand. These are things you need to internalize, not just know them, but internalize them if you're going to pursue professional basketball overseas. And these are things that a lot of players are not going to tell you, things that a lot of observers are not going to tell you, but I'm going to tell you because if you don't know me, I'm always going to give you the truth. I'm going to give you the real, what something is, even if it's something that may be a little bit inconvenient for you. Number one thing you need to understand about playing professional basketball overseas is that this job is not for everybody. Meaning, it is not for everybody who is even good enough to play pro basketball. There are about 5,000 jobs available for American-born players to play professional basketball all over the world. That's including the NBA, including the G League, and all teams overseas, all leagues overseas, based on rules and allowances for how many import, quote-unquote, import players are allowed on rosters. About 5,000 total. How many players right now in the United States alone think they are good enough to play professional basketball overseas? Probably more than 5,000, all right, including the players who are playing right now. Them plus all the players who are not. How many are there? Let's say 10,000. All right, it's probably more than that. So that means there's at least 5,000 players out there who think they are good enough, believe they have the skill and the talent to play overseas. They are just as good as somebody who's overseas right now or in the NBA or G League right now, and they're telling the truth. They actually have the ability to play overseas, but they're not right now. This game ain't for everybody simply because, well, I'm going to tell you more when I get to the second and third points. But one reason that this game ain't for everybody, without stepping on the other points I'm going to give you, is that it's not as easy as it looks. It is not all fun and games. It is not as simple as it looks. It takes a little bit more than just talent and skill alone, or something that I'm going to get into in point number 2. But understand, once you get into the overseas basketball world, you may realize that it's not all that it seems from the outside looking in. Just recently, I was talking to a guy, 26 years old. He played college basketball at a D1, was a starter on the D1, made all conference accolades, was the best player on his team and all of that. Went to play basketball overseas, played overseas for 2 years, but he didn't like it. He's 26 now. He's in his mid-20s, and he's done playing professional basketball. He said, I'm done playing overseas. It wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be. It was too much politicking and this thing going on and that thing going on. It wasn't anything on the court that he didn't like. There was stuff with the coaches, stuff with the staff, stuff with the money, stuff with the travel, stuff with being outside of USA. All those things ended up pushing him out of the pro basketball world. And listen, he is not the first. There are other players who I've talked to, D1 players, D1 at major D1s. I'm talking Big Ten players, players from the ACC who did their thing in college, went overseas, and before they turned 25, said, I don't want to play professional basketball anymore because, again, it wasn't as fun as it was in college. College basketball is fun. I played college basketball. It's fun. All right, playing at a major D1, which I didn't do, I played at a D3 and it was fun. So I know playing at a major D1 or anywhere in between will be really fun because everybody knows you. You're right there on the campus. Everything is set up for you to be successful. All you got to do is play ball and go to class. They got tutors and everything set up for you to be successful. College basketball is a fun thing to do. Overseas basketball is not as fun. All right, you don't have as many friends around. All right, most of the people on your team, you might not even know them. You may not even be able to communicate with them. So understand, pro basketball overseas is not for everybody. You might think it's for you, then you get in the game and realize that it ain't. But again, you might have to find out on your own, but I want to make sure I said that. Number 2, it takes more than talent to be successful in professional basketball overseas. It takes more than talent. Again, I just told you, I know players who played D1 who decided they didn't want to play basketball anymore. I played D3 and played longer than a whole bunch of players who played D1 and D2 who told me they just didn't want to do it anymore because the game just wasn't for them once they got in it and saw what it was really about. More than talent means you're going to need a high level of discipline, high level of confidence, high level of mental toughness. You need to be willing to be on your own. So any of you right now who is watching this or listening to this, and you're a parent or a significant other or a coach, and you're looking up this information for one of your players, understand something. When that player of yours, let's say you help them and get them the information, they get on, they actually get a job and start playing overseas, you can't help them out the first time they got an issue with their coach, or the first time they got a problem with one of their teammates, or the first time they don't feel like going to practice and they got 2 practices that day. You can't help them then. They're going to have to help themselves. So what I would suggest you do, those of you who are helping somebody else out right now, is you have them listen to or watch this with you so that they understand this exact point that I'm making here, because talent alone is not enough. Talent alone is enough in the basketball world to get you on a middle school team, high school, AAU, to get recruited, to get a scholarship, and to play college basketball. If you have talent alone, you can do all 6 of those things. Talent alone will not make you a professional basketball player. Maybe it can make you one. Maybe if you're talented enough, it won't keep you a professional basketball player. If you're a ball player, I'm sure you've known some players who had so much talent, it was like amazing. Think of the best player you've seen who didn't become somebody in basketball. They had enough talent, enough skill, enough game to go wherever. Where are they now? You might not even know where they are. You might know where they are, and it ain't a nice place. What happened to all that basketball talent? Nothing happened to it. They still got it. Problem is they weren't able to become a pro because it takes more than talent to be pro. If all it took was talent to be pro, I wouldn't have made it, because there's not enough jobs for somebody at my level. As far as the way it shook out for me, ended up at a D3 school, for me to get it. How many players are playing D1 right now, and how many jobs are there worldwide? All right, there are fewer than 5,000 jobs worldwide. There's more players playing D1 right now than that, period. Just that alone. So if all it took was talent, I wouldn't be making this. I wouldn't be talking right now. I wouldn't have written this book about playing professional basketball overseas, because I wouldn't have played. I wouldn't have any experience to be speaking on. I would have no credibility in the game to be talking about that. So discipline, confidence, mental toughness, personal initiative. If you're coming from a small school, you got to be able to market and promote yourself, sell yourself. You got to understand the business side of the game. You got to understand how agents work, how exposure camps work, why teams do the things that they do. And be clear, you don't need to go figure all these things out. I've already figured them out, and I've written 4 books that will help you understand all this information. I'll tell you about that in a moment. So the second thing is it takes more than talent. The third thing, understand that when you're playing professional basketball overseas, you are stepping into a profession. This is not a hobby. This is not a side thing. This is not something that you do just because you're so good at it that it just comes naturally. This is a profession. If you're going to last in this game of overseas basketball, you need to be a professional. If you don't know what it means to be a professional, I have master classes that address that inside of my game group membership at Work on Your Game University. The link is down there below. You can get your first 2 weeks of access completely free. Being a professional means you showing up every single day and doing your job even when you don't feel like it. It means making the job look easy even when the job is hard. It means you delivering and over-delivering even when nobody else feels like delivering. It is you doing your job as if you're being paid for it, even if and when you are not yet being paid for it. These are all part of being a professional. And there's a lot of other things that go into being a professional, that if you're going to become a professional athlete, you need to make sure you embrace and understand, because as we already know, there are whatever number of people have the job right now, there are at least that number of people trying to get the job. And they will gladly take your job if you don't want to do your job. That's what I mean when I say be a professional. So being a professional is not just about your talent and skills. Actually, it's not about talent and skill at all. Being a professional is a mentality. It's a way of being. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of conducting yourself. It's a way of showing up every single day. It's a way of getting up and going to bed at the same time. It's a way of taking care of your body. It's a way of communicating with other people. It's a way of controlling your energy and your state every single day, especially when you're on the basketball team and everybody in the city is watching you because you're the only American walking around there and you're 6'7" and you can't hide. All of this is part of being a professional. And if you're not willing and able or ready to do those things, understand this game will chew you up and spit you out, and you'll be right back home wondering what the hell just happened to all your talent. These are the 3 things that I want any newbie, anybody brand new who doesn't know anything, to understand about overseas basketball. So let me recap them. Number 1, this game is not for everybody. Even though you might think it's for you, you may get in and realize that it's not. I've dealt with many players at the D1 college level who went overseas and realized that the game was not for them. Number 2, it takes a lot more than talent to make it. All right, there are a lot of talented ball players out there who never made anything in basketball, let alone money, because talent alone ain't all that it takes. And number 3, you got to be a professional to make it and to stay making it in the overseas basketball world. If you don't have that professionalism from the inside out, you ain't going to last in this game. I'm telling you right now, but you can find out for yourself if you want. Now, how you can find out some more information about overseas basketball is to get the book. This is the first and the only book that tells people exactly what you need to know, what you need to do, and what you need to avoid when it comes to getting started in professional basketball overseas. It's called the Overseas Basketball Blueprint. And listen, I'm not even going to sell you this book. I've already paid for the book. I'm going to give you this book for free. All you need to do is go to balloverseas.com, handle the shipping. You pay for the shipping. I've already paid for this book. I used to charge $50 a piece for this book on Amazon. That is a true fact. I'm giving you this book for free. All you do is cover the shipping. We ship this book worldwide. Again, that's at balloverseas.com. The book is paid for. You cover the shipping. This will get you started, and then we got more stuff for you after that. But let's just start with this. Work on your game. Dre, all